Hello, everybody. My name's Milan Starcic. Welcome to Freedom Rising, a podcast dedicated to empowering individuals on the journey to personal growth, lasting serenity, and freedom from addiction. Tune in and join the movement. Your journey to freedom starts here. We neither represent, promote, or demote any 12-step program or organization. We are merely souls on the path of recovery with the desire to expand our lives and experiences and share them with you. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 159th Recovery Freedom Rising podcast. I'm Milan Starcic with the ice of the storm, co-host Bryant W. Today's topic is the wisdom to know the difference. Can you share what this means to you, Bryant, and why you're happy to discuss this topic here today?
I can and I will. Good to see you again, and thanks for having me.
Always good to see you.
So the wisdom to know the difference, it's, I think, something that is unconscious for us for most of our life. I think that until you are aware of what's underlying your motivations, your sense of self, and the way that you perceive other people in this world, it kind of is like an automatic thing that's based in your very limited experience. So if you've had, an awful experience at this place, you probably want to avoid that place. And if you think people are always like this, then you're going to always probably expect people to always be like this. And if your solution to your problems is uh, a substance, then you're probably going to go to that substance as a solution to your problems until you sort out what's going on underneath that. So after having said that, I think what I'm saying is that until we become willing to take a look at what's been going on, we do not have the wisdom to know the difference. And I think it is a lifelong practice to differentiate between what we can do things about, what we can't do things about, what we can rely on, what we need to leave in the hands of what we usually come to believe is a higher power, all this different stuff. So it's a fancy thing. There's probably a whole lot that can be said about it, and I'm really grateful to be here to talk about it some more.
Awesome. I'm totally stoked you're here. Yeah, the wisdom to know the difference. Man, I could feel the difference, nibbling at my toes and being like, F you. I am choosing the dark side. And, but, that was just where it was. And, in the wisdom to know the difference, I mean, that's from the Serenity Prayer, really. And it's not,
It is.
which predates the big book. I actually met a guy whose uncle wrote it or something like that. Anyway, he's like, my claim to fame is my uncle wrote the Serenity Prayer. And I was like, shut up. I'm like,
That's pretty wild.
I want some proof here. I want some proof because I had the wisdom to know the difference between if him talking shit or not. No,
Yeah, fair enough. That's a good point.
Yeah. But, it's literally, whoa, look at him go. He's puking on air.
Got up my coffee.
I know. It's the principle of discernment that
Yes.
this wisdom really is. And it's about having the spiritual clarity to see where our power is and where we need to surrender. It's really I think that is the line we're crossing, right? Where do we actually have the power to do something here, and where are we best surrendering and being part of the universe instead of just trying to control that universe. And so I think with the questions, we're going to go a lot of way, but a couple things that come into it is, that the humility comes into it of that, that awareness, that discernment is kind of born from humility of actually seeing what our capabilities are. And, we kind of end up living this every single day, in our relationships, in our service, in our, in our emotional sobriety, in our, in the way that we either become discontented or contented.
Yes.
Right there, and so, our freedom is ours to learn what it is and what it is not. I'm going to leave that there and say that I love you. I've missed you since Friday. It was so
Uh-huh.
long ago,
That
and
was a nice conversation.
that was a great podcast. Friday was anybody out there jump back one and listen to both of these on a long drive, and you're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Okay. So you want to start the questions? Coffee knows
Sure.
McGee.
What do you call coffee? Yeah, dude. I'm sorry if I'm a
Coffee
little
knows
scattered
McGee.
here.
I saw it
Yeah,
squirt out your nose. I can't wait to play it back and
all
pause it.
over the table and my notebook and probably on my clothing. Anyhow, um, the question
Like,
I have for you: how did you? This is an assumption, but I can imagine you can relate to it. How did you used to fight and manipulate to get things to go the way you wanted?
oh boy. Well, first of all, I would say that was born, from a lack of tolerance and, excuse me, acceptance,
Yeah.
and how would I do that? I think that I was a master at laying some predefined carrots on the road with relationships, where I would bank so many good actions so that when it was time for me to need
Yeah.
something from you, you'd be like, well, it's just that one thing he's asking me to do. And look at, he did 10.
Sure. Yeah, I remember you saying that before.
Yeah, and so I think I raised on the Catholic guilt. I was a master at turning in Catholic guiltitizing.
Uh-huh.
Like I was really easily able to make it seem like you owed me.
Okay.
And I would say that that was probably the most likely way. That's the way that comes to my mind. Like if I have to think of this string of amends and resentments and everything that I've gone through in this program, I would say that was my most likely technique.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, you can ask seven.
Do you think it was more of a you defined relationship by transaction, or do you think it was also maybe conscious or subconsciously a way to find out if people truly liked you back? Like, was there any of that going on, or was it more of
I would
like,
say like, okay, so what was the very first thing you said there? That
I'm
it was,
wondering if like the idea of having like done something and then expecting something back, was that sort of just how you perceived relationship as transactional, or was the self-centeredness?
I think I saw that that's how things had been with me with other people.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I learned by example. But
Okay.
I would say like I didn't put the carrot out there to see what you do as a test. But
Uh-huh.
let me tell you, I would remember and keep a record of wrongs if you failed.
Okay.
Like absolutely. This is one thing that I keep talking about from that Corinthians 13, and I've talked about it with you, and I've talked about it almost on every podcast, is that I'm trying to deepen my ability to love right now.
Right.
And my biggest struggle is the record of wrongs.
Yeah,
And
totally.
I
Well,
have
they're
I have
similar.
I have a lot of friends I talk about with it right now, and a lot of meetings I talk about it, and a lot of people are in denial about their record of wrongs. Okay, like I'm not judging them. I'm telling you that, like I'm like, nope. They're like, no, no, I never do that. I'm like, you never do that, eh? I'm like, let's talk about your wife and you.
That's
Like I think that everybody, to a certain extent, is a bit of an accountant when it comes to love.
we're talking about the right stuff then, because this is that weird gray foggy area, where you try to figure out if you're
Mm,
on it or if you're off, like if you're off,
yeah.
you're missing it.
Okay, so
For
you can answer your two questions.
Okay, so if I was to think about how I tried to sculpt the world around me,
Mm.
um, I was very aware of what I would consider other people's defects and or deficiencies, especially in my family. Like I thought that I had like decoded why everything was so messed up, and like I knew who the problem was, and like I knew that I had made mistakes, but like it was because of this and that, and other people weren't getting where they wanted to go because of this, and that. And to this day, I'm still mesmerized at how little sometimes things change and how much you can change and still be bothered by the same shit, you know? Like
Mm,
you can spend a lot of time trying to like kind of shed that stuff and it still comes and knocks, and you can invite it in or you can say I've done this before, I'm not buying it this time, you know. And
mm,
so for me, when I say fight and manipulate, it sounds very strategic, but I think most of it's unconscious. Like, so I had anxiety, which means that I was resisting something or a lot of things for a large portion of my life. Like when I was in my late teens, early 20s, I was literally like consumed with anxiety.
mm.
Didn't matter where I was. And that's why I drank, whether I was like, I mean, I drank all the time. Like I would go to work and not go to work intoxicated or anything. I mean, maybe I did a few times, but and it doesn't matter. But like I would drink to visit my family. I would like I did not socialize without alcohol. And
You grew up in Ontario.
yeah. And I look back, like my group of friends, like we were at it early and thoroughly, and it went on. And I just happened to be one of those people that falls into the category of like not your average out. Like I'm not a normal drinker.
Yeah.
So mentally and
You
physically,
took extreme pleasure in it.
yeah, I liked it way too much, and it ended up having way too much of a negative effect on my life. So hence learning all this stuff and making a decision to abstain from it. But so the fight for me was all that internalizing. I was internalizing. It's like I had like a 10-year panic attack or like a 10-year what do you call that when you're upset and you slam your feet? What's that called?
Tantrum.
Yeah, I had like a 10-year inner tantrum about life. And I drank the whole way through trying to soothe myself, you know? And so, yeah, I didn't really know even what my way or to get things to go my way looked like. All I knew is I wanted what I wanted and I tried to get it. And I was deeply saddened if I didn't succeed, whether that was liking someone, the job I wanted, the invitation to the things that I thought I wanted to be a part of. Like so many different things could trigger that lack of inner resource, which was ultimately based in not feeling connected. So there was this isolation, fear, um, just that feeling of not being good enough and not knowing how to fix that, you know?
I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And then, so now you're going to answer your second question.
What was the second question?
Well, I don't know. You pulled in that second question to me. It was,
Oh, well, I didn't have the same thing as you.
oh, okay.
I didn't look at relationships quite that way. I
Yeah.
think I did in intimate relationships, but I wasn't as much of a I did this for you, so you should be doing this for me. I didn't I'm not suggesting I'm unique in that respect, but that wasn't as important to me. I had different stuff.
So, wisdom begins when we stop confusing control with responsibility. True freedom is in knowing what is ours to carry and what is not.
Yeah.
How has long term sobriety helped you distinguish between responsibility and control in your life?
So the most important, really nice question. The most important shift for me was learning that underneath a lot of my stuff was required to be accepted and get appreciation, and all these different things that lead to connection from other people. They say no human power. So I actually took that very seriously. I sort of started having faith in life itself rather than people, because they say no human power, which means that if I was waiting for any specific person to fill that part of me, that I was probably going to be disappointed and still keep searching for something within other human beings, where I needed to find the resource within myself and stop relying on other people to do that for me. And that's a lot of that spirituality. So that was a huge shift, like no longer requiring that as much. I still do sometimes, because it's like that word expectation. Like, what's the point in having relationships if like we don't have relationship? You know what I mean?
Mm.
So it's like we can strive for it, but we also can't be debilitated when it doesn't work, you know? So that's the difference. It's like instead of being like washed away, I can just be disappointed, and then I have tools to work that out. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
um, I think that's where that real shift happened in me, where I don't think that's control. I think that's really trying to allow life to happen, learn where I fit in, like where, like that word responsibility, like when they say what's your part in something, like that's an insane awareness that can change your whole life.
Hmm.
And so I really try my best to be like, where did I fit into this? You know what I mean? And if I can't figure it out, I accept that maybe it's just confusing and maybe it needs some time. But like, usually, if you're really trying, you can find out where your part is in something. And then, like you said, be responsible and or stop trying to control the outcome, because those are the most sane things you can do. And the other stuff just creates disharmony.
Yeah, I
Simple
love
as.
that. Okay, wisdom begins when we stop confusing control with responsibility. True freedom is in knowing what is ours to carry and what is not.
Yeah.
How has my short term sobriety helped me distinguish between responsibility and control in my life? Well, you know, I think that it's really been a journey of kind of stumbling through this to actually see what is, what is my actual part that I need to surrender and what I need to actually be taking action on.
Yeah. Oh
And
wow.
and like part of part of what I'm learning, at least for me in my two-way prayer, and I might be learning the wrong thing, who knows? But what I'm seeing is that it's like I work to the direction, not to the goal now, is what I'm trying to do. Like I am trying to point myself at being loving because if I'm listening to the responses I'm getting with my two-way prayer of listening more, seeking service more, calling a lonely person, like things like just little things that are my actions that I can actually do. Like I can't be like make Bryant dance. Like, like he might dance if I put on a good song, but probably not like a puppet on a string. And
Yeah.
nor would I want him to because I think he'd be more fluid on his own 2 feet.
That's
But
true love. That's true love, my friend.
it was one of the old timers at a meeting. He said, you know, I was told early on that love is when you don't want to change anything about someone.
Let's get it on. That's pretty beautiful.
I know. I'm like 48 years Wayne Parker. Shout out to Wayne Parker. I mean, like he's only something in 48 years.
Wayne Parker just hit a home run.
Wayne Parker's a fucking motherfucker. He brings his dog. His dog's crazy. He's
Oh, I
crazy.
think I know who you're talking about. That's rad.
Wayne Parker. Oh, well, yeah, he probably came up to Kelowna a few times.
Is it a golden or no?
No, it's a little white poodle.
Not good enough.
Like it's like a skipper. It's
Okay,
like
that's cool. That's
doo
cool.
doo doo
Anyway,
doo
God
doo doo.
bless him. God bless him.
Anyway, yeah. Um, so what I see though is like I don't want to be outcome based, but I want to be direction based because otherwise I'm not progressing. Like I do like how in the 12 by 12, Bill kind of corrected it and said progress towards perfection. Like if we're not aiming at some ideal, we're just progressing. We could be progressing negatively. Like there is a difference of what,
It can be very patterny. Very patterny. Yeah.
yeah. So I think that we have to kind of see our part, become aware, make, realize what are the actions that we can take, and probably pray and listen for a response to get some more direction in those actions. Right now, the responses I'm getting, which oh dude, I'm officially 1 month today on my two-way prayer.
1 month of two-way prayer, and
Yeah,
I know you've told me you've noticed that it's been a very positive thing.
very dramatic, very dramatic. So, it is literally showing me the wisdom to know the difference in situations.
Amazing.
And I'll leave that question there.
Can I
You
just
got another?
quickly say something? The
Yeah.
Master Singer, I was listening to him, and he literally the whole thing was about aiming and picking a direction, just like you said. He said it's not just like if this goes well or if that goes well or if these things work out or if I get rid
Mm,
of that. He's saying like aim, and
yeah,
that's your trajectory, and that's the most like realistic way to get somewhere. So
yeah,
I really like that, like, and it's totally like what we're talking about. So
yeah. It's like, you know, I want to be loving. I don't care if I'm loving in Kansas City or Oliver or Kelowna, like where, what, in what job I'm doing or who I'm talking to. I just want to be that, you know?
yeah,
Like if I can successfully be that anywhere, anytime, then I know I'll be able to do my part in this universe. Because looking more deeply at it, dude, all the other principles are part of love.
absolutely. I mean,
Like there's not a single one that isn't inside love. And in not doing it would compromise your love.
well, yeah, you're you're flexing your individuality and hoping that the world conforms to your very limited idea, and that can cause a lot of shit.
But it's just like, man, if you're going to be real loving, you're going to be honest, you're going to be compassionate, you're going to be tolerant, you're going to have acceptance, you're going to be surrendering when you should be surrendering. Like, otherwise, like, your love just wouldn't be complete. Like, that's the thing, like, it's just, it's an all encompassing thing.
It's a great goal.
It's a great goal to be more fully loving.
Yeah, and whole.
Whole, yes. Well, but you would have integrity if you had real, complete love.
Totally.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, there's a lot to. Okay, you got another question?
Yeah, I'm hoping this can provoke some thought, but it's kind of a straightforward question. Did being right actually bring you happiness before?
Oh,
Like before?
yes.
Or even
So
now?
okay, so I would be lying to say that there wasn't points where I was successful, but based on decisions. So that's being right. You know, having
Yeah,
success based on a decision is being correct in that decision.
yeah,
And that did bring me happiness. To someone who had grown up like middle to lower class,
yeah.
and like all of a sudden had opportunity, was actuating growth in that field through getting himself professional coaching and experiencing success from it. You know,
Nice.
like there was economic success, but now let's flip that to personal relationship success.
Yeah,
I have never won an argument and had a great afternoon. I mean, after stuff like any
yeah, yeah,
family
yeah.
member, you know. So being
Nice.
right, like I want to just say, like for the deeper picture, being right at the expense of happiness is a bad deal.
No question.
Happiness is like so priceless, and being correct could be really so inconsequential to 5 minutes from now.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Like, like just contentment, joy, serenity. There was one of the things that one guy said at the conference, and I said it around you before, but it's like he said, are you guarding your serenity like it's priceless, or are you passing your state of mind like it's salt and pepper at a table? And I really, really
Yeah.
think that, like, passing your state of mind around like salt and pepper at a table, like, man, I'm garnishing a bad night.
Yeah. That's actually so funny what you just said.
I love you.
You get bad.
Okay,
Uh,
you got to answer that one.
oh man. So I know what it's like to have pursued being perceived as being right. I used to think it would be neat to be considered someone that had good insights or knew what the truth was or something like this. I don't know. I have learned, dude, I'm going through the wildest season. I mean, I used to think the other seasons were the wildest. This is the wildest. Like, I am trying to stay out of other people's lives to the extent that I'm like actually comfortable, and it's like, whoa. Um, I don't know what's going on. I think they say suffering brings wisdom. I think like I just that to know the difference. Um, being right to me was good because it meant I wasn't wrong. And if I was wrong, I felt shame. I felt super concerned with what other people thought of me. Like, because my main problem was low self esteem, being wrong was like a real problem. Like now
Mm.
when I'm wrong, I'm like, okay, like I don't feel like my my being's being swept down the river, like never to be found again, or like that's the guy that was wrong, you know? Like it's like, okay, like of course I'm wrong.
BW means big wrong.
Big wrong. Yeah, big wrong. That's my name on the next one. Um, but you know what I mean? Like I just don't take myself as seriously. I
Mm.
don't expect people to like be like, "Oh, thank God we asked him for his thoughts." You know, like who cares? Like I don't know. I'm just getting way better at like not really minding if people are aware of whether I'm right or wrong, and like what could be right today could be wrong tomorrow, and what could be wrong could turn out to be something really like good. I don't know. Like some of the things that I called bad ended up being good, and some of the things that I've called that's outrageous. That's outrageous. I guess it is, but I
But
don't
when
know. I
it's
think like
easily shattered, it's brittle wisdom.
it was. It's not now, but like honestly, I think just feels so good to like stop trying to like get the world to like acknowledge whatever it is that's going on in my life. Like, I don't know. I'm just trying, you know, I'm really trying.
It's really fun to laugh instead of
I love that.
actually have to put on a cool front.
Well, and take yourself so seriously. Like, someone's going to kick your ass.
Yeah,
Something is going to, I promise you, if you think that you're that whatever, something's going
impenetrable.
to come and trip you up.
Mm.
It's just the way it is. I've had days where I'm like thinking too much and I'll like walk into a wall and the wall's just like, wake up. Like,
Yeah,
you know, it's like you don't want to be trapped inside yourself so much, you know?
yeah.
So yeah, I think being right used to seem cool and being wrong used to seem super threatening.
Hey, it was Gabriel's 2 year yesterday. Shout out
Yeah,
to young Gabriel. Love you, brother.
yeah, love you, brother. I'll send a warm welcome. I'm
And
not
him and Adam next Monday are both taking a cake at the Monday Night Beginners. I'm going into Kelowna.
I might fly in, bruh.
Yeah, do it, man. Just fly in.
I
On your,
should.
that'd be wicked. I
I
would
would.
love it. Use up some air miles. The program teaches us that acceptance is not weakness, but strength. It is the soil in which wisdom grows. What role has acceptance played in bringing peace to situations you once fought against?
So that's basically the whole thing. I was waiting for things to change before I would feel okay. I was waiting for things to be better before I'd be better. Does that make sense?
Could you repeat that sentence? Something just got garbled. I couldn't tell.
Oh, sorry. I was saying like that was sort of the whole thing. Like I was waiting for things to change before I would change. And I was
Mm,
waiting for things to be better before I could be better. You
mm.
know, it was like as long as this is the way it is, I'm not okay. How could you be okay with this? It's that same concept about the people's perception of whether there's a god or not. It's like, what kind of a god would make such a disaster? And it's like, maybe we made the disaster. You know, like if you can try to sort out like what the actual facts are, um, I've learned that it is actually possible to be okay while things are not okay. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's amazing.
I don't even know what else to say about it. I think it's just
Yep.
the idea that like you can overcome and outgrow and still be loving and still move forward in a whole giant pile of confusion, you know?
Yes, I do know. In fact, like, what role has acceptance played in bringing peace to situations I once fought against? Like, I mean, I look at the last round of steps I did in both rounds, but, the last one really, like, where I sat with my sponsor and it all boiled down to acceptance, man.
Yeah,
And, my discomfort in this world was completely self created by my preference of other people's actions.
exactly.
And the second I can let go of a preference of your actions, I'm never disappointed for the rest of my life.
So amazing. And I
And
think,
and like I'm not saying I do it all the time, but man,
no, of
I
course,
do it way more than I ever did.
I think that's
You
the key. I don't think anyone here today, meaning you or I, is suggesting we've got this thing nailed, but it feels so good to have made progress, wouldn't you say?
I I I don't even feel like the same person I was a year ago.
I think there's a high likelihood that you're not.
And the beauty of it is that I'm really more worried about helping you than controlling you these days.
Yeah.
Like, like I'm really kind of pointed more.
You're hilarious.
What are you saying?
You're just hilarious. You've been on a full blast rocket for the last almost 2 years, like you've just been doing like all kinds of good, healthy shit. It's awesome.
Yeah, but I love it. I love it.
I can tell.
Like it's
Yeah.
so delicious. Dude, we have so many grapes right now.
Well, and think about the stuff we talk about. Like this stuff didn't even exist in our mind before.
Not at all. Not at
Yeah.
all. No, there was no weekend I was not partying and discussing wisdom.
Well, and you were trying to achieve some stuff that like I say thank God now, but like just doesn't bring lasting contentment.
Yeah. Yep. A
Like
hundred
at the
percent agree.
time you thought that was what brought it, but like I'm
I
actually
thought it was like
grateful.
security and happiness, and it just kept
Exactly.
taking me further from both.
That's right. Yeah.
It,
Major.
it really did. And now, like, the security is inside of my contentment or my serenity.
Yes.
Like, it's just something that other people can't take away.
So, oh, yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is it's your turn to ask a question. Your
All
turn.
right, there.
This is my new face. I'm gonna be like this on the show forever. Look at it, I'll be like this. Huh, Brian?
Yeah, boy.
What'd you say? You want a little
You
chicken
got a
and cheese?
question for me?
You
Um,
got the question?
so we've already kind of garnished this in a couple other questions, but I want to talk about it a little more if you're open to it. Like
Yeah.
when it comes to acceptance, why is that wisdom? Like, what does acceptance play in the like? Sorry, how does acceptance play in wisdom? The role of it, like, if we could expand, like, where does the wisdom come in? Like, when it comes to
Well,
accept.
I think we touched on this a podcast or two ago when we were talking about like, and maybe it was one I did with Scotty, but it was like intelligence, intelligence is like something that helps you make a choice based on your actions. But wisdom is like you being able to make a good choice based on someone else's actions. Like, that it's like we can learn but we don't even have to make the mistake.
Ooh, yeah. Oh,
Like,
definitely. Yeah, yeah.
like and so it because most of our intelligence is gained by us either succeeding or failing, and we have that data bank of that, you
Totally.
know
Yeah.
but with wisdom, I could read a book and be like, oh, okay, if I talk to somebody like this, there'll be a different reaction because I wasn't really speaking to them in a way that they could perceive and understand, and I might never have thought of that. But if I execute that, I had the wisdom to attempt that to see if I get a different outcome.
I get that. Yeah.
So I think that the wisdom comes into acceptance of basically, being able to learn from my actions, my interactions, but also yours when that it's beyond our scope of control.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yes.
when I can act and make a difference, or when I just need to surrender it because it's not something that I should or would can control.
Right.
You know,
And that's the wisdom.
yeah.
Amazing.
Like I find myself having a much different attitude now, like even with work. Like with work, I used to kind of like try to push deadlines to keep things moving.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, okay, this would be a whole day of stress. This would be a whole day of stress. These people like are obviously, not going to just puppet for me or whatever. And I'll
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm like, let's just extend this. I said, let's just extend this because that way there's no stress about it.
Nice.
And it hasn't lost any deals.
Well, that's that trusting life and having less fear and being more reasonable. Like sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, the idea of the wisdom in acceptance is just that simple thing that like you take action and you leave the results after you've tried your best in the hands of all the different energetic forces that bring things together and split things apart. I mean, really, like acceptance to me is just relaxing. Like I'm like, and not laziness. It's like I remember, and she'd be okay with me saying this. I had this profound realization probably 5, 6 years ago now. My sister had had some relationship stuff, and I was like her big brother, and I would worry about her, and I was like, "You're my little sister," like, like, and I would tell her things, and I'm like, I'm telling you, you're fucking wrong about this, like, like you gotta listen to me, and then the thing would happen, and you'd be like, and you wanted to avoid it, and I like my motive was I didn't want my sister to get hurt, and I didn't want her to travel down really like obviously wrong roads or whatever, and like but she was obviously being driven by her own all the ingredients that made her who she is at that time of her life. Anyway, we got into it once over something, and I remember thinking after, going forward, and again, not perfectly, I am just going to be her brother, not based on any of the results of whether she does this or doesn't do that. It was just like, no matter what, I'm your bro. I love you, and I'm here. And like, but it's
That's
not.
unconditional love.
Yeah, and I decided with her, I'm still working on it with the other one. Um, I mean, it's there. It actually is there. We still have some work to do. But with this one, I just like totally was like, I'm letting go, and it just is such a cool thing. So she was a really valuable human being to practice that with, and it's been really cool. And like I just stay out of, like, I mean, we talk and she'll say things, and I share a lot of stuff with her, and we have thoughts and opinions, and we have things that we wish the person would or wouldn't do, but we don't change the way we feel about ourselves and each other anymore based on those things. So it's kind of neat. um
Do you think it's brought greater peace to your relationship with her
oh, major, yeah.
and greater contentment?
Oh, major, and trust.
Oh, and trust. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready for another question?
Yeah, because we can actually, yeah, I think just to finish that off, like we now know we can be completely honest and not worry about whether that person's going to approve of it or not, which means that
Yeah.
it's actually a much more authentic relationship because we're not sculpting it and hiding and changing in order to see if that other person's okay with where we're at.
Filtering. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because filtering will take out probably the most needed part to be heard.
totally.
Yeah. So courage without wisdom can lead to reckless action, while wisdom balances courage with humility. How have you learned to temper courage with wisdom in your recovery journey?
Oh boy. So I learned this really bizarre lesson with a pretty substantial injury where I was still trying to people please and like fit in and like be courageous. And there wasn't a great deal of wisdom at one point, and it led to like further problems. And that's just a good example of where that light bulb went on. I used to be like, yeah, I would do unwise things that I thought were brave. Does that make sense? And I thought that that gave me a certain quality of like look what I'm willing to do, you know. And I've actually really tried to definitely still take steps in a courageous way. The fear is real. Like there's all kinds of stuff where I'm like, this feels really scary, but I'm gonna go and do it. And so yeah, just getting used to like facing the fear, but also just like not disrespecting myself the way I used to. Like a lot of it was like harmful to oneself. And I think there's a far different level of respect for oneself in what I call maybe a courageous step compared to before. Yeah. Like
Nice.
the courage before was actually disrespectful to myself. Not all the time. Not
Ooh,
all the time, but like, yeah, often.
most of the time.
Yeah.
Okay, all the time.
Let's go for all.
Okay, so how have I learned to temper courage with wisdom in my recovery journey? I feel like I'm just like on the outer lip of wisdom. Like I'm just like actually starting to recognize what it is.
Yeah.
Like I used to ride a lot on intelligence and think that my intelligence provided some kind of wisdom. And then all of a sudden
Yeah.
I'd be in a whole bunch of situations where I wasn't happy or wasn't getting the result I wanted or whatever dynamic it was not bringing me serenity and peace and love. And
Yeah.
so, and then also I think my definition of courage has changed. You know, like
Oh, that's a good one.
I
Yeah.
used to think like that reckless action was courage,
Yeah,
like
exactly. Yeah.
throwing myself in front of something in a dangerous way to help somebody else made me
Oh yeah.
brave and like, and then therefore should be rewarded in some way for that. Like it really was a transaction. It was like my safety for your love, you
Yeah,
know?
man. Great example. Yeah.
And so like now though, like I think being inside the program in an area where I had no friends who were straight, that took courage.
Yep.
you know, like rebuilding my life
Yep.
and flat out just refusing to even look back, in that sense. That takes courage. The
Oh,
very day I started to surrender. And every moment of surrender, I believe, is an act of courage. Like, like to me, it's way braver to move towards the light in that circumstance.
absolutely.
And so I'm not sure I'm tempering courage with wisdom now. I think I'm redefining both of them in my brain and
Yeah.
just trying to find the equilibrium.
I totally get that. Yeah.
hmm like one thing that keeps happening to me recently is like I'm 53, man. Like I have physical limitations for activity, but I mean I'm walking more than any person I know right now. Okay, like I'm
Yeah.
not
You do a
bragging.
little bit of hopping.
But the thing about this is that it's like I'm tempering my courage to keep pushing myself physically to maintain my health and keep myself invigorated in life. But
Amazing.
I'm having the wisdom now, like I'm doing like almost 5 1-hour sets of yoga after a bunch of the walks on 5 days of the week in
Cool.
order to like undo all that in my body. Like I'm actually not just driving myself into the ground like I used to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so it's like, I'm having the courage to be physically active, but I'm having the wisdom to see what regenerative parts of I need to be doing in order to maintain that,
And
you
that
know?
is wisdom. Yeah.
So I would say that maybe is that.
Dang.
You got another question there, hot diggity dog? It's so nice to see you, brother.
You
I,
too.
I cannot believe, like, I was like so stunned when you picked your dad the other day instead of Harry. I thought you were going to say Harry for sure. I was like, Harry, Harry. And I was like, wow, that's a shout out. That's a shout out to how much growth has happened inside your relationship with him, man.
Yeah, special as heck, man. It's hard to. It's dude. I don't know. It's crazy.
But it's amazing.
It's a miracle. Like it's like I don't know. That's what. Man, they say this stuff will happen, and it does. So I mean,
Sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly.
well, and here's the thing: I've watched grown men bury their fathers without getting the gift I'm receiving right now. So
Yeah.
I'm eternally grateful. But the upper deck is the sculptor of the clay, brother. Like I did my part, and I think he's doing his part, and there's something really nice about that. But it's because
Mm,
of something bigger than both of us, that's for sure.
yeah.
So yeah, so I don't know if this is similar to the other one, but how does fear manifest? Okay, what is this? How does Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so how is fear like manifested in the whole concept of getting what you want or losing what you have? Because we know that that's like the meat and potatoes of a lot of our fear, right? So like
Yeah.
how does fear manifest in those two concepts? Like anxiety about getting what you want or losing something you have. What's that experience been like for you?
Well, okay, like first of all, I would say that my biggest battle with the defect continuously
Yeah.
is being quick to anger, right?
Okay.
And so that anger would be manifesting in that, like that you're not doing what I need you to do right now
Yeah, yeah.
because like it's either not allowing me to do my plans,
Sure.
or like it's interrupting my flow of the day, or it's flat out taking away something I was expecting to happen and to come, right? Like it's basically just premeditating resentments, whether it manifests in anger, whether it manifests in me being sad about something momentarily, but
Sure.
it really is just the premeditated resentment that's kind of occurring there. And so that's going right back to preference. Like the second I'm showing preference, I'm not wanting either something, like I'm wanting something, or I'm not wanting to give something away. And quite frankly, sometimes, like quite most often, the thing I don't want to give away is my time that I've already allotted to something else.
No question. Yeah.
Like it's like boom, somebody be coming in and now their emergency is my emergency, and I'll react like fuck that. Nope, not now. Like, you know, and it's true though. Like I mean, we're
Yep.
we're here to have an honest conversation, and that's when I see myself most like, dude, most like unless it's my guitar, my computer, like I don't really give a shit about most possessions. Go
Yeah.
ahead, take a pair of my shoes or something, or grab something from my shed, or but like the things that I'm caring about are things that I use to create my own art or my own serenity or my own
I think
peace
that's
or
really
this
neat.
show, you know. So people just know not to mess with that stuff. They get crazy. Like I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. But yeah, yeah, we gotta be connected to a few belongings.
well, it's just that without, I mean, I am just not a great enough singer to not have an instrument.
Fair enough, buddy. That's brittle wisdom right there.
That's brutal. It's shakily.
Is
Okay.
there still a little delay by chance?
There totally is, but it's okay because the thing about it is that most of the audio on most of your pictures 100% clear. So
Okay.
as long as we exchange words with a little break in between, it
Yeah.
doesn't make it. We're not stepping on each other's toes.
So far, it seems fairly good.
I think it's awesome. I am way happier to be doing this than to be worried about a connection.
Great. Yeah, me too, because I didn't think it would actually even happen. So here we are.
I knew it was going to happen. I have faith. Like I'm like Mr. Faith right now. Okay, so you got to answer your question.
Okay, so fear manifests in it for me. It was anxiety, and it was like I wouldn't rest until the result was there. Until I got the email, I got the money, I got the yes. You showed up at my house. We arrived on time, like rah, like constantly, like red light, whatever, any delay or whatever. I was just like and I
Hmm.
didn't like, I didn't. You wouldn't know, but I
Yeah.
was feeling it. I was feeling it, you know?
Yep.
And again, when we talk about this stuff and we're like pretty darn honest, like sometimes I'm like, oh my God, like no wonder we were so like whatever unhealthy and relying on things to help us get through because we were nervous wrecks, you know?
Hmm.
And so the other thing too is like that's where my resentments came in because I was really cool when you do that like inventory. The word ambition, I like the social instinct is major because that's how you fit in and perceive yourself and how you fit into the world. But the one that really rung true for me was the ambition, and it doesn't necessarily involve money. It could be the pursuit of a relationship,
Hmm.
time with your dad, whatever, right? And like if older sister tries to sneak in there and get in the way, you're like, you're ruining my opportunity to get close with dad. And that's like another just cool example. I like whether that's real or not. And like when it came to work, like I'm driving the truck. We're taking Sunday off, even though you want to make more money. Like I need a break, and if you're gonna get in the way of that, I'm gonna get really pissed off because we've already worked 14 days in a row. Like just little things, right? Like we're taking Sunday off, right? And if you tried to get in the way of that, I would be all blah, you know, and like, or like you're waiting for your paycheck. You get paid once a month. You're like, they better send that money. Like you guys owe me like a lot of money. Like we worked like 87 hours this month. You know what I mean? Or whatever. It should be more than that. Let's say these last
87 hours that week.
I meant the week. I meant that week.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, you know what I mean? So like all those little things, like I would be like somewhat unstable until I got what I wanted, you know?
I was exactly like that. I didn't mention that, but I was exactly like that. I still
And
could be exactly like that.
oh, me too, dude. Depending on the situation, like just now when I didn't think my internet was gonna work, I was like, this is getting in the way of my ambition to be on here doing this. I didn't want to look stupid. I didn't want it to be low quality, you know?
I think we should just change ambition to the birthplace of expectations.
Same thing. Same
It
thing.
really is the birthplace of expectations.
Yeah. So, but it's a beautiful word to talk about the wanting to acquire and get. Um,
Hmm.
it's like it's,
Yeah.
and so that's how it happened for me. It was usually in unrest until I got the result. And I had this hilarious little game with the higher power where it would be at the last fucking second. It was always, it wasn't like early in the day or like a week early. It was like the last possible second. He's like, "Yeah, I told you I'd come through." And you're like, that wasn't cool at all.
I know.
And
I
it
know.
just,
I
it
don't
was,
know how
yeah,
to rectify that. Like, I don't know how to completely eliminate those ambitions for deadlines because, like, my job, literally, dude, is sitting around most days having an
right.
ambition that something is going to succeed.
I believe you. You picked a good one for this lesson, right? Um, so anyway, I guess the idea is like, can you be calm and still try to get the very best result? Can you be calm?
Yeah.
And I'm not the calmest. Like I'm getting like way better, but yeah, it was
I,
kind of
I have some tricks now where I'm just like, okay, like, how do I remove my preference out of this?
it's bizarre. That's what I'm saying when I say I'm in a weird season because like I think I'm getting there, man. Like I don't know how to explain it, and I don't know. I just feel like the world is becoming a lot more like fluid. I'm not as convinced that those things are going to make me happy. So I'm not as connected or like I'm not holding my fist like these
You have
things
less ambitions.
maybe, but I don't think it's because of like a lack of care. I think it's again, I think it's the wisdom to know the difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Honestly.
great. I'm not denying it.
No, I
I'm
know.
not.
I'm just
I
enthusiastic.
like. I honestly like. For this last month, man, for this last month, I have just been trying to, as much as I can, walk the walk with what I'm doing with this two-way prayer. And I've hit this sense of like peace and contentment. Like I've had one bad day in a month, dude. One bad day. Like, and it wasn't even that bad. But like, if I had to say, like, it was an out of sort day. I, like, there's just something to
Dude, some
when,
people haven't had a good day in a month.
when you're doing the next right thing consistently, and that's the only attachment you have is to trying to do that,
Yeah, man.
like life really opens up, man.
I think what I'm hearing you say is that your motivations for like what will bring you contentment has changed so much, and you're simplifying it to something that has so much substance that if you live in alignment with it, it naturally your the natural feedback is contentment.
Like,
That's
how
what
many people are sitting there in the morning going, how can I bring service into every moment? Like, how many people take 2 minutes to reflect on that in their lifetime, let alone a day?
totally. I mean, I have people close to me and I'm like, when was the last time you did something for someone else, like other than your partner or like your parent?
Mm,
Someone that you don't know, like, you know what I
mm.
mean? And it's usually never.
It usually is never.
Anyhow, that's a good point.
Now, it's my question to you, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. So, in both AA and NA literature, we're reminded that clarity often comes not in the moment of struggle, but in the reflection after surrender. Can you share a time when wisdom only became clear after you let go?
Oh, always.
But give us one example. You
Yeah,
like
no, I just felt
you
like
like
saying
my
it.
hair here? Look at it at the top. I like have it so it comes over the gold.
I can barely tell.
Okay.
Sorry. Um, um, okay, let me see. I mean, it's almost every time. Oh, oh my gosh. So, okay. Well, I don't typically do this, but can you say it one more time? I really want to.
Can you share a time when wisdom only became clear
Okay,
after you let it go?
yeah. Jeez Louise, brother. That's I don't know why that's hitting home. Like it's like all it's always.
And
It's like
okay, well then, if that's the case, then describe why for
yeah,
people.
that's what I'm trying to put into perspective right now. That's just such a big concept and it's like when I let go.
Brian, let go.
Yeah, I don't know. So
I've
um
never seen you stumped before.
well cuz I think it's so beautiful. I mean, it's the basically the essence of the wisdom. I'm trying to figure out a way to tie it into forgiveness. Like,
Mm.
okay, I'm not going to say anything specific and I hope I don't get emotional.
I hope you do. I love when
Well,
you
it comes
cry.
down to somebody that I care about pretty much as you can care about someone in this world.
Okay.
And I they were struggling with something that I talk about on podcast. And I don't know why I'm talking in code. It was an addiction situation. And I had to get to a point where I had to like draw a boundary in order to feel like I was no longer putting myself at risk of, feeling incredibly um challenged by the dynamic of the relationship. So I was like thinking, if I remove myself from this, that will motivate this person to finally do the right thing, you know? And I learned later that just being honest and what that experience was like for me, not only did have a motivation, but I didn't have to remove my love completely. I just had to be more careful with how I put myself into the situation. And now I'm having such a better and loving and like more like actually in alignment with who I really want to be in that dynamic where the person's actually making progress. And I guess where I'm going with this is like it didn't have to happen the way I thought it needed to happen. Does that make sense?
Mm.
Like I was like, no, it's black and white. Like it has to be like, and it's like, no. And that person is where they're at. Like it's that whole thing about that unconditional love. Like, who am I to put um what's that called? Expectations or like I cannot do this for this person and I have to be accepting of their process. And if I anyway, I can't really even it's almost like the wisdom came after I realized that I got a chance to see that that person was making progress regardless of anything that it had to do with me, and I'm just so proud of that person, and I'm staying out of the way. I'm not saying like, oh, like where are you at, like I'm just loving that person while they sort through where they're at with that thing in their life. And it just, I don't know, the result is hard to describe, like the tension and the sadness. It was a very heavy and sad thing for so long, and now I'm like, I'm not feeling any inner resistance to it, and I'm trusting that that's happening the way it's supposed to without me gauging it, you know?
Yeah. Or
Sorry.
putting a timeline on it.
Timeline, even more. Yeah. Timeline. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's one of the hardest things. Yeah, for me, can I share a time when wisdom only became clear after I let go? Well, like I've talked about this so many times, but the great resurrendering of March 2025, being reminded that I got to have you on a podcast with Tommy and Andrew too. But, that this isn't a program of self improvement, it's a program of surrender. And my quest for resurrendering has just brought to light to me so many factors of, first of all, like where there was holes in my faith, like where there was holes in my faith in the universe, where the futility and uselessness of that worry and anxiety about something that I should have been surrendering anyway. Like that, like
Yeah,
it
exactly.
took like the hindsight on that, like for because I'm virtually experiencing zero anxiety about things that I was before March. And when I look back, I think of how much mental real estate that was owning, you know, and how I could have just let it go.
Yeah.
So when the first part of that says, the moment, but in reflection after surrender, it's like once you let go of the rope is almost the only time you can see how heavy that weight was.
Yeah, boy. Yeah.
You know, like and then it's like, man, was it ever fucking smarter to let it go? The wisdom only became
You
clear
had
after you
to.
let it go. But the
Yeah.
thing is, though, is that when you're holding the rope, you're like, man,
Yeah.
I'm losing my grip. Like, whoa, whoa, and I'm pulling on it. And it's like my whole day is trying to hold that slippery rope. Like, I love the analogy of holding the rope with surrender because literally, when you let go of that rope, it's just like your whole body changes posture
Totally.
entirely. And so, yeah, I think that's my answer to that one.
Groovy.
Do you have another question, Mr. Wisdom?
I do, and it's actually my last question, which I'm surprised. I thought I had plenty, but
Though we're doing pretty direct answers today. I don't feel like we're not like
yeah, we're not
meeting
going.
share length or something.
That's right. All right. So
We're doing it like an 80-person meeting and a 1 hour meeting.
yeah, but it's great. I think it's a tough one. I thought this was gonna just like wormhole us, but I think we are main kind of like awarenesses and beauties of this concept, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What was it like to realize you were never going to be okay doing things the way they were before? Like when you were like, this is never going to work.
Well, like that all came to the crunch that night that I died. Like, you know what I mean? Like that was my defining turning point.
Yeah.
And so, like, I was pretty relieved. I was pretty relieved the morning I woke up after that event.
No
Like,
question.
life was so anxiety filled. Like, I'm not sure about you near the end of your thing, but dude, my life was so anxiety filled. I thought I was going crazy the last few months.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
Like,
I
like
thought I was going to die.
absolutely crazy. And
Yeah.
then I was like, what if I'm just so crazy? Like, I'm like, are they going to put me away somewhere? Like, I felt that level of insanity just where I was like, I don't know how much more I can function normally, right?
Yeah.
And so when it was finally like, okay, that is it, like, that is it, it was like, ah, like that feeling I was just
Yeah.
talking
It's a
about
beautiful
letting go of the
thing.
rope. It was like one of the most, like, oh, like, talk about a surrender feeling. Like, I give up. I can't maintain the insanity. I can't maintain the life. I can't maintain the drugs. Everything has to change.
Yeah.
Like, everything had to, when they say you only got to change one thing, it's everything. I was relieved because there was nothing that I was enjoying by that point.
I agree.
Like, like
That's a
I
very
look, I
strange
look at
thing.
my relationships, I look at my health, I look at my rest, I look at, like, how every single way that I was interacting with the universe was off. I was
Oh,
like so not harmonious.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Like, it was like, when they call it the daily grind or something, it was like the life grind. Like, it was like,
Oh, oh man.
okay, you're gonna answer that one.
Yeah. So, it was way before I actually got sober, but in my early 20s, I had a profound awareness that no matter where I went, no matter who I was with, no matter what I had in my bank account, anything, like no matter what was going on the outside, like if I was living in a bungalow in Hawaii being paid to surf for hundreds of thousands of dollars, that I would still be depressed. So I knew that the outside couldn't fix my inside. And that was so scary. I was like, well, then what in the heck could you possibly do? And I had determined that I had either failed at life or life had failed me. And those were the like only options. Like the
Didn't you really think, though, that life had failed you? Like, weren't
oh
you
yeah,
so
like I was
ego and
pretty
self-centered still? Like, I remember thinking it was like, how could this be happening to me?
yeah, I felt like I was the guy that got the short straw, like never had the luck.
Mm.
Some of the biggest awarenesses that came to me were I wasn't even respecting myself, even though I wanted other people to respect me.
Mm.
And the other crazy thing was that I just had never fully conceded that I was the problem.
Yeah.
Like when this gentleman that snapped me out of this was like, "You're the problem. No one's thinking about you, but there's something we can do about it." I was immensely relieved. Like you talk about the resurrendering, but there was that surrender when you gave in after the
Mm.
horrible
Yeah.
touch, like that unfortunate day where you actually slipped away. You came back with this like awareness of like, holy shit, I almost lost everything. And like it differentiates between the everything you used to think was what made life meaningful and just life itself, like the beauty of just life itself
Mm.
without
Yeah.
adding anything to it. So I had a similar experience where I just simplified everything right back down to like nothingness. It was like just to be alive and then try again and definitely not do it the way I had been doing it. And so yeah, there's wonderful about letting go of that version of myself. And it came in a rough package, but it came also with a lot of relief, you know? Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so now we're going on to my questions. Woo! Okay, so I just said that because it's like, I'm like, I got lots of questions. I made lots. I always makes tons. It's
Bizarro.
because I'm like, what if he wants to do a 3 hour podcast?
Yeah, I wish I could.
Oh, you will now. I got 42 questions left.
Oh,
Okay.
perfect.
The wisdom to know the difference means we no longer have to live in the chaos of trying to change others. How has this principle improved your relationships over time?
Yeah, it's immense. It's like the most beautiful part of this whole thing. Because to be honest, like my relationship with alcohol doesn't exist anymore except for the fact that I know that I can't touch it and like I can reminisce about the good times and I can be reminded of how painful that was. But when it comes to like actually living without that, it always comes down to the relationships. And like, man, my new thing lately has just been like not just sitting around waiting for things to happen, but like just accepting things when they come and not forcing anything. Like, like when I see my mom, I'm like, I'm with my mom right now. And it doesn't matter if I didn't see her for a month or if I'm seeing her for 1 to 3 days. Like, I'm with you right now. When I receive a message or a phone call, or when you invite me on a podcast, or when I know I have to go to school and see my classmates, like all these connections with people, I don't put anything on them anymore. I just love to be in the company of the people when they arrive in my life. And I try my very best to complement that situation by not bringing all heaviness all the time. I mean, I had to share some heavy stuff with people this last year because it was heavy, but try to be like a positive addition to an already existing situation. Like I don't know. Does that
How to
make sense?
serve, honor, and respect the moment.
Yeah, and just like man, like I used to need my dad's approval. I don't do that anymore, and I think it used to piss him off. Like he recoiled from that need from me because he was like, I
Yeah,
don't know how to meet you there. And that was sort of a failure at times on his behalf. But at the end of the day, he recoiled from it because I like needed it. I don't need it anymore. And thus that tension's gone. And there's
mm,
and like with my friends, I had a couple friends where I relied on them a lot, through hard times. And now I just try to be a good friend. And like there seems to be like a wonderful energy there because there's not this neediness and like
mm.
I don't know, like at work and at school and with people at the store. Like I don't know, there's just like I don't know, there's something a lot. I think the general fact is like you just become more harmonious with the world around you. That's what seems,
Yeah,
and that seems to be true.
I love that.
Like I don't think there's a bunch of people that are like looking for me right now because I did something terrible to them, and like thank God.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, the wisdom to know the difference means we no longer have to live in chaos of trying to change others. How has this principle improved my relationships over time? You know, it's really just kind of starting to come to fruition. You
Yeah.
know what's happening with my time, with my mom, with my daughter, with my wife, those are the three that is, kind of, I'm seeing the most change directly due to how I'm changing and approaching them,
Hey.
because like what I'm seeing is that the more I'm tolerant and accepting of others, the
Mhm.
more they're flowering in my presence,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like it really keeps people down when you're not, like, when you're not acknowledging their shine. When you're wanting them to shine green and there might be a red shiner, like, in that sense,
Sure.
just like metaphorically, they,
No, I get what you mean. Yeah.
yeah, like, and it's just like what I realized was how long I made people feel wrong about themselves for.
Yeah, that's wild.
And I don't want to do that anymore. You know, I'm trying to curb sarcasm. I know it's not gaslighting, but there was a thing I would do where I would kind of tease my daughter, and I'm really,
Yeah,
really trying not to do that now because that teasing just set her ill at ease. Like it's almost like it's like a jocular anxiety creator is what I realized.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's really transforming relationships and improving them, like improving them dramatically.
That's so valuable. It's like hard to put. You can't quantify the value of that.
No, no, but I can see that it's moved in a positive direction.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
You know, like it's growing new relationships almost. You know, it's not improving the old ones. The old ones are almost a
it is.
completely different thing.
It's a garden, man. Like your energy is a garden, and things will wither in it, or they will grow.
Yeah. Ooh, look at you, Mr. Bommy Droppins. I love it.
Little wisdom.
A thread of wisdom. No, but that was a solid wisdom. You were an SW.
The garden.
Okay, you ready for another question?
Sure.
Wisdom matures when we invite a higher power into our decision making rather than relying on self will. What practices keep you spiritually aligned so that you can recognize the difference?
I'm going to break that down to one simple formula, and that's that I have a healthy fear of the laws, man, of the laws. I've broken the laws, I have received consequences, and I have opened doors with other behaviors. And I have a very healthy fear. I don't think that I'm the one person that gets exempt. Like, oh, it won't happen to me. It's like, no, no, no. It's like it's coming, brother. Like I have a. They say wisdom begins with the fear of the Lord. People struggle with God and all this. Like for me, that's just the laws that operate that gave life its laws. Like whatever, whoever, whatever created that, I have a healthy fear of that, and I really don't want to tango. I want to ride in the parameters of what I've learned, and I know I have more to learn. And that's why they say a loving God, loving laws. The laws are good for us. They're not to like squash us and make our lives small. They're actually really good for us. So I'm actually much more motivated to like know that this is good for me rather than be resentful like why can't I do this without consequences, you know?
Mm.
Yeah.
Woo! I like that. I like
Yeah.
that a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, what practices keep me spiritually aligned so that I can recognize the difference? You know, like I mean, it's really my starting my connection with my higher power, starting to actually pray the way that I am. But the two-way prayer is really a way right now where I'm kind of receiving guidance to begin to act. To begin to recognize the difference between what I'm doing right or wrong. You know, like lining up against honest, pure, unselfish loving, you know, against those four absolutes. It's a it's a pretty high standard, and I'm
Yeah,
not saying I'm like 100% pure or honest or unselfish or loving, you
totally.
know,
Yeah.
but when I start to do more things that are, I feel a difference rapidly and dramatically, and it changes my days. Like it changes my days, and it changes the level of peace. You know, I said a few times on the podcast, you know, like my my questioning whether something's good or bad or whatever, my worry zone is like the back of my head to the top of my shoulders for me.
Okay.
Because in the last month, this area feels like a million times more relaxed. There's way
Wow.
less like worry inside there. Like whatever part, the back of the brain right there is that to me is like my cognitive dissonance center.
It's called the Milan Dula.
It is the Milan Dula. It's almost like the amygdalon.
Yeah. That's so awesome though. That sounds like a huge positive shift, you know? Like my gosh, to like literally feel physically different. That's amazing.
It's a literal feel physically different, like amazingly so. Okay, are you ready for another question? Living clean describes wisdom as a practice of honesty, humility, and perspective. Now, how does honesty and humility help you discern what truly needs to change?
Well, what I've learned about this idea of like having free will, um, is that I think it really is our choice if we want to be certain ways. Like no one's forcing us to change. I mean, you get the consequence of like intoxication and like treating people poorly, but like if you want to go live in a cabin and just be resentful and angry and dishonest, like I mean, you get the feedback when you project this shit onto other people, but like if you want to just be that way by yourself, like no one's going to change you. Like we all have the right to remain as we are, but um I don't know. It just feels like the right thing to do. Like I had this idea like when I was in my 20s, like if this is who I am and I die like this, like that's a tragedy. Like that's
Hmm.
not okay. Like that I'm not okay with that. And so while my heart's still beating and my eyes still wake up in the morning, I want to like know that I tried my best. And I don't know what that even really means, but like I just think we get feedback. Um Oh man, I don't even know. Like it's this something about feeling peaceful. Like I don't know. I never thought I'd ever feel peaceful. Ever.
Mm. And
Like
you
that
seem to
wasn't
be a little bit happy about feeling it.
say again.
You seem to be a little bit happy about feeling it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Eh? Everybody talks about like happiness and like then people will say like happiness is the result of being peaceful. And like I don't man, I don't want to get involved in I just want to be peaceful. I do.
Okay.
I
I
want
love
that.
that.
Yeah. And so I know that I'm I know that I'm free to be however I want to be. And I just feel like there's this gentle nudge to like move in the right direction. It's not this like, yeah, I don't want it to be transactional like we talked about earlier when with other people. Like I don't want my motive to like be good and be honest. Like I don't want to be honest just because I want to be like recognized as an honest person. Like I just want to be honest. Like I
Yeah.
don't know, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it's the action is the reward itself, not the recognition of the action.
Yeah, but before it was.
Yeah. No, exactly. I'm just stating the
Yeah.
facts.
Yeah, yeah.
So how does honesty and humility help me discern what truly needs to change? Well, I think for myself, I've said this all the way along, is that it was honesty and humility that helped me do a really honest step forward.
Yeah.
And so it was the tools of this program that showed me what these principles in action can do. And what they can do is they can help me see undiluted the effect I'm having on my own life and on the universe around me. And
Yes.
so that honesty and humility is literally brings me to awareness, which is my vehicle for change.
Beautiful.
So, like it's the only way I can discern like what truly needs to change is with honesty and humility as part of my the qualities of my fact finding mission, you know?
Wild.
Yeah. Because like I just feel that first of all, inside my drinking and drugging, like there was just a delusion that I was buying. Like there was, it was not only my lies to you. Like I lied to myself the
Yeah,
worst.
yeah.
Like I had believable delusions. Like when I look back and I'm like, I believed that. Like I'm like, good God, was I ever stupid? And it was like literally, you know, like it was like when you have the beer goggles and the girl looks really good at the bar. Well,
No question.
it was like my ideas had beer goggles on them.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so how much longer
Yes,
do you have?
I would be probably good for like 15 more minutes if that's reasonable.
Okay, we're going to do 8 questions lightning round, regular 1 minute lightning round, not 30-second lightning round. But I did like the 30-second lightning round.
Yeah, that was cool. Better get it right.
You've got no chance for repetition. Okay, here we
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
In the 12 steps and 12 traditions, wisdom is described as flowing from collective experience, not individual will. How has listening to others in the fellowship shaped your sense of wisdom?
I think being continuously exposed to honesty that you don't really hear, like that level of vulnerability and honesty, like over and over again, and just being like so grateful to watch people that you actually respect admitting that they were having these problems. So, like, there was no lack of respect or value in the people. Whereas before, it was like, if we weren't all this and we didn't all say the same thing and feel the same way about things, you're not invited, you're not part of the group. Like, these were individuals that were expressing a real need for change and that they were finding it and being honest about their vulnerability. And that just like spread into my soul. It just motivated me, you know?
I love that. That's it. Mic dropped. Okay. How has listening to others in the fellowship shaped my sense of wisdom? You know, I've considered myself a fairly creative person,
Yeah.
but I filter every option through Milan's culmination of life experiences.
Yeah.
And the thing that I've loved the most about being in the program is that so many solutions I hear are filtered through other people's lives. So it doesn't have the bias of my single minded
Yeah.
trajectory of Milan wins, you
That
know?
makes sense.
And so like listening to others in the fellowship, man, like there's so many times I'm like, I never would have thought of that. Not in a million years had my head turned that corner to peek at that direction. And it probably was never going to because I was still looking this way. You know, like, and I love that. I love that so much. So it's literally opened my mind to complete directions I couldn't even fathom. Okay. The big
That
book,
was a spicy minute right there, brother.
that was a tight minute, man. The big book reminds us that self knowledge alone is not enough. Wisdom comes when knowledge is surrendered to spiritual truth. What has recovery taught you about the difference between knowledge and wisdom?
Well, I think that I used to protect myself with these like very, very inexperienced concepts of what I called like knowledge. It's like, oh, well, what about this and what about that? And they're like, I don't know. I was quickly put in my place. What I would say is like wisdom, self knowledge availed us nothing. So the limited amount of experience you have, or I had, or I had learned, or trying to disprove the existence of a higher power, all these different things, it led to a very humiliating experience. So okay, so I'll just try to weave in wisdom. Wisdom to me is like, yeah, right sizing your self importance and being willing to realize that I know very little, if anything, and willing to try to learn from that place instead of thinking I already knew everything. You know,
I love that. Okay, what has recovery taught me about the difference between knowledge and wisdom? Well, I feel like for myself, I was kind of talking a little bit maybe earlier when I was talking about intelligence and like knowledge. Like, I feel like there's facts, you
yeah,
know, but wisdom is the understanding, like, kind of direction from the facts. Like being able to see these group of facts, but actually seeing what has, like, that moral or guiding truth about it
yeah,
from those facts. Like it's a deeper inference than
yeah.
just being able to be a computer reiterating something.
Well said. Yeah, that's great.
Wisdom allows us to stand still without shame when action is not required, to rest in God's timing. How do you recognize when wisdom tells you to wait rather than act?
Oh, buddy. So that's literally the blossom on my tree right now. That's why I feel the way I feel, because I'm not acting, and I'm not doing, but I'm definitely in a period of waiting. Like there's so many things right now that I could be running around trying to do and recreate, and I'm just like, no, like I have been stripped, and I am standing in the rays of the sun, exposed. And I just think that's part of why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, in a good way. And so I've had plenty of times where I've had to wait, and it really does come with its own wonder. Even though it's like it's kind of contrary to how we used to do things, I love it. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Bonus Wisdom. Um, okay, so how do I recognize when wisdom tells me to wait rather than act? You know, it's one of the things, like they say, patience is a virtue. Is it ever? You know,
Yeah.
it 100% is. And the one of the biggest things is timeline. One of the biggest things that I am having to surrender is timeline with things. You know, like I want to fix my life now.
Oh yeah.
But but
Yeah.
it's just like when I stop, I'm like, man, right now I have 1,000 pounds of Concord grapes outside. I got like 5 fruit trees full of stuff. Our garden's rocking. The sun's shining. I'm gonna go walk my dogs. You know, like I got great shelter. I'm able to exercise. You know, like what am I in a rush to get to from here? Like
Exactly.
like it's just I am probably not, you know, like I don't know, but I probably don't even know if there's a higher level of contentment than I'm experiencing right now. So what am I fighting for?
It's a beautiful insight. And maybe that's actually the facts, and like you don't want to miss it if it's already there.
Well, that's it. It's like, you know, like I see people all the time and they're like, oh, you know, like you're never going to be fully shed of your defects and shortcomings and blah, blah, blah. And I see it like we're human. We're going to react and we get better at responding. But like, I'm already having a pretty fucking great time.
Well, I think this is the window that, I don't know why I call it a window. Like I'll just quickly graze like my last relationship. Like I truly believe that we already had what people are looking for. It's that
Mm-hmm.
only one of us felt that way.
Well, I mean, you know, the wisdom to know the difference.
Woo! I'm going with my piece because I know that
Yeah.
sometimes you can't add more to things.
Yeah. But, you know, that's, I think, the difference in evolution between the two of you.
Yeah, most definitely.
You know, like and that's the problem is that, you know, there was some thing that wasn't at rest with her,
Yeah,
you know, and unfortunately that just makes her not feel contentment and that inner peace, right?
yeah.
Discernment is an act of love for ourselves and for others because it prevents us from creating unnecessary harm. In what ways has wisdom protected you or others from harm in your recovery?
I think having the courage to say things to people that might upset or offend, but knowing that it's reasonable and it's true, or could be helpful. I think like having the courage to reach out, but also know when to just walk away. Like I guess like knowing when your efforts actually have their limits, and understanding like without the other person's um kind of own motivation, that like there's just really a gap there. So I don't know, something about like not completely staying out of things, but knowing when to like back off.
Awesome. In what ways has wisdom protected me or others from harm in my recovery? Well, just not letting my emotional state be 100% controlled by my expectations. Like
Yeah.
that has saved me so much harm right there. Like I was my own torture master on that front. Like I could set myself up for 100 disappointments before lunchtime. You know, and and with others, I mean, that wisdom to not try to control others has just saved them from my harm continuing on them
Yeah.
and with them, like giving them the freedom to flower in their way is the greatest gift I can continue to try to give other people.
Absolutely.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Living Clean teaches that wisdom is often revealed in the pause between impulse and action. How has the practice of pausing shaped your recovery decisions?
Well, I think the calmer you are and the clearer you are, the better your decisions are. And I think like going back to that, being accountable for previous decisions and not trying to like wonder like how did I get here? It's like, well, you did this, and that. Maybe they did this or that, but like at the end of the day, like you still have choice. Like I think we get choice back, and I think choice is freedom. And I think in between the choices, if you can relax as much as possible, you'll make better choices. And you might enjoy your other choices more when the results come rather than just always trying to do more, 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 you know?
I
So,
love that.
yeah.
Okay, in what ways has wisdom, oh no, sorry, how has the practice of pausing shaped my recovery decisions? Is that the one? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, well, you know, I actively say I need a moment for this now. Like I never used to.
Sure.
I would rush into being responsive,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
super responsive. And now I'm okay with saying, that's good for me. Like
Totally.
I
Yeah.
need I need a minute. I'm like if you want a bad decision now, I can give you one. But if you want a good decision, please just give me some time on this. And I'll
Totally.
I'll generally ask for overnight on something you
Yeah.
know and I don't feel guilty about it anymore because
No.
I'm seeing that it's making me make better decisions.
It's such a fine art. Yeah. Well said.
Okie dokie. So that's it for the questions there. This was amazing. Thank you so much for coming on today. I certainly love you excessively, and
You,
man,
brother.
I'm super grateful we got this time here today. Anything
Me
you want to
too.
close out saying to everybody?
Well, I think I think the main kind of reassuring fact of life is that there's just so much to learn that we could put in the category of wisdom rather than um just the go-to things that we all rely on. I don't know, there's something just so cool about letting life surprise you and believing that things that we previously didn't understand can become clearer, and that it can all be for a greater good. And then the main thing too is to like not give up on believing that there's a solution.
Woo! I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Well, I love you, and tune in next episode for more recovery fun, everybody. Bye bye. I love you. Please help us help others. If you like what you've seen here today, please subscribe and share this podcast and help us get to 100 followers. We're looking for interaction with our audience. So please email recoveryfreedomrising@gmail.com or contact Milan Starcic on Facebook with questions, topic suggestions, or just comments. We'd love to hear from you.